أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. We give all the praise and thanks to the Almighty Source Creator, the Creator of everything. Brothers and sisters, we're part of the creation. The rules, laws, the laws of physics, the rules of health, the natural laws, the universal laws that govern the creation. Those same rules and laws that govern the creation also governs our anatomy and physiology, our body. Our health comes from our cells, brothers and sisters, nowhere else. The Almighty created us with cells, 75 to 100 trillion of them, and they are responsible for our health. We are responsible for taking care of them. For if we take care of them, they have atomic intelligence to take care of us, and they will never fail us. So, brothers and sisters, this program, Optimal Health on AM 360 with your host, Instructor Abdul Shaheed, share information, verifiable scientific information about how that all come together. We are responsible for our health by taking care of the needs of our cells, by removing blood impurities, by protecting our DNA, by protecting our RNA, by learning to eat scientifically, and cooking our food scientifically, and learn to live on this planet scientifically. This is what health is all about, brothers and sisters. This is what health is all about. Planet Earth is very toxic, predatory, and adversary. Toxic, predatory, and adversary. We live at the bottom of the troposphere here on this planet, where barometric pressure is at its worst. Atmospheric pollutants everywhere, microbes that you cannot even see. They dominate here. Poison, dominate. But nevertheless, we've been created to live here. And the Almighty placed in all of us what it takes to do it. But no one have taught us how to do it. And how all of these substances inside of us come together to take care of our health so we can live healthily on this planet, even though it's very toxic, to become the very best possible person that we can become, fulfilling all obligation. This is what is required. Brothers and sisters, now we have a program called Optimal Health on AM 360 that deal with how to take care of our body. The first rule to health is that we are responsible for this body that we've been gifted with that afford us to have life on this planet. We are responsible for taking care of it. Not our mothers and fathers, not our sisters and brothers, not our uncles and aunts, not the doctor. We are responsible. Each and every one of us is responsible. Health is an individual journey. It's what you know to stay healthy, what you're applying to stay healthy. Because we know what we eat, what we drink, and the chemical and substance we expose ourselves to will affect our cells, their structure, their behavior in the following three ways. And we don't want to ever forget these three ways. Number one, they will cause pH imbalance and iron loss. Number two, they will fill our blood with impurities. And number three, they will make us violate the pH rule, the natural law, the laws of physics, and the rules of health. These would be the reason why the person would be sick. They wouldn't be sick because they didn't take some pharmaceutical drug this morning, nor some herbal concoction. That's not why they're sick. They're sick because they ignored their cells. They had many signs to take care of the needs of the cell, but they ignored them. That's why the person would be sick. Now, we have a program that's teaching us how not to ignore the cell, to take care of them so they can take care of us. So welcome you to a new episode of Optimal Health on AM 360. We have an excellent program outlined for us today. We're going to be talking about laws of mobility, how a person loses their mobility. We were created for movement, brothers and sisters. We have to move. Everything in the creation must move. And there are things under our skin must move at the speed of light in order for us to be normal, in order for us to be healthy. Healthy is normacy. A disease is abnormalcy, just the reverse. So now we have a good understanding, a better understanding why the person do not have movement, why they'll be stuck in a wheelchair, why they'll be bedridden, why they have to be supported by a walker or a person to get around. We're created for movement, brothers and sisters. Now you're going to understand why the person will stop moving, what happened. So, brothers and sisters, we have our guest with us, Mrs. Rita Taylor, a certified symptometry health coach and a student at the American School of Symptometry in the doctoral program to be a symptometry doctor of symptometry. We certainly appreciate her joining us today and being with us to share information that we've been learning at the American School of Symptometry. It's absolutely amazing, brothers and sisters. We encourage you to become a student at the American School of Symptometry to get more advanced information, not just learning what we're learning and hear what we have to say, but to expand your own knowledge base, so you can become more valuable to your community, to your family, to your friends and associates. This is what we're able to do now. Because we recognize we have to do something different. What we've been doing is not working. People are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So we need answer. We need solution. We need solution, not more problems. So we're being taught at the American School of Symptometry how to become the best problem solver, how to solve problems, because that's why the Almighty sent us here, to be tested and solve problems. But we can't do it if our health is falling apart and deteriorating. We must optimize our health in order to be able to do it. Mrs. Rita, how you doing today?
I'm doing Assalamu alaikum, brothers.
Alaikum assalam. Thank you once again for joining us.
Pleasure is all mine. As you said, if you're not moving, you're losing.
Absolutely.
We are created to move. So if you're not moving, you're losing. And we're going to show you how you can move. Not the pill that the doctor give you, but how to clean that cell of yours so that you can move again. That's the only way. That's what I have for you today. I'm excited to share with you so that you don't have to make the wheelchair industry rich.
Absolutely.
Invest in your health so that you don't make them rich. So if you're not moving, you're losing. No walkers, no wheelchair. We have the solution for you. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.
Well, like assalam, Mrs. Rita, we certainly appreciate you joining us to share the information about the loss of mobility. They can do surgery, and they can do all of these things, but the person still might not have their mobility back. Or they operate on spines, they operate on backs, and people still are stuck in a wheelchair. They're paraplegic. They can't move. And many people are in that situation. They don't have to be. People have MS, multiple sclerosis, all these different conditions, and they have completely ignored their self. They exercise chaotic eating, Miss Rita. They don't know anything about scientific eating. They don't know anything about food. Is the reason why we'll be sick, because we eat chaotically. We're not using science to select the food scientifically. We're eating food that we should be avoiding. We're eating food that's hindering ourselves. But they'll learn today, God willing, they'll learn today. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to take a short break, Mrs. Rita, then we'll come back to you and allow you to begin this topic. Loss of mobility. Everything in the universe must move. That's why we have atomic power to move things. And that's what the atom was created to do, to move, kinesis, movement. So that's another reason why the universe is expanding. It's not shrinking, it's expanding because of atomic movement. And we're supposed to add to that, not take away. So we're going to take a short break, brothers and sisters. Take a moment to call someone, to share the link with them, to do a conference call with them, because they won't get this information that we're sharing from nowhere else, but here on AM 360, where you have, at this point in time, two certified symptometry health coach, and hopefully before the program is over, we will have 3 certified symptometry health coach from the American School of Symptometry sharing their knowledge of optimal health right here on this program. So please share the link, call someone, ask them to join us today, because we are all responsible for our own health. No one is coming to save us. So brothers and sisters, we'll be right back, so please do not go anywhere at all. You're with Abdul Shaheed and guest, Ms. Rita Taylor. We're both certified symptometry health coach. We'll be right back. Thank you.
People get sick all the time. However, even after years of research, physicians don't have the faintest clue why most sick people find themselves in the predicament they do. Will they just accept the same treatment without truly getting to the bottom of what is happening to them? Not anymore. Symptometry draws attention to your cells, the building block of your being, allowing you to understand what needs to be done and paving the way for self-correction. Developed by Dr. Maxwell Nardi, symptometry is not medicine or even its alternative. It is a study designed to fill in the void left behind by the most common scientific fields. Symptometric science has proven time and again over 31 years that chaotic eating and living are not in the best interest of the cells. It's about time we change that to understand symptometry, dive into a whole new world of cell-based knowledge, and profoundly appreciate human cells' work. Get your copy of Symptometry and Symptometric Science at a Glance by Dr. Maxwell Nardi now.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters, with Abdul Shaheed and our guest, Mrs. Rita Taylor. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to share the mic with her so she can start talking about this topic we have, loss of mobility. Ms. Rita, you have the mic. Thank you for joining us today.
Brother Shaheed, assalamu alaikum. I'm delighted to share the information and the knowledge we have at American School of Symptometry to help our community to learn about mobility. As you said from the beginning, we are made to move. If you're not moving, or if you're in a wheelchair or on a cane, there's something wrong. There's something, it's not old age. Please don't put old age as a reason. Old age doesn't have anything to do with it. It is something that is you doing to yourself. And he said in the beginning, there are 3 things: the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, can cause impurities in our blood. And that's what we have not been taught to train. And American School of Symptometry, the doctor of symptometry will show you how you can do that so that you don't have to be popping pills, because those pills are not going to save you. They're not going to help you. You're just going to pop them up and down. You're going to do surgery and you'll come back to the same thing because the problem is still there. So, as I said, why are you bedridden? Why are you using a cane? What is wrong? It's not because you're old, or age doesn't have anything to do with it. It is what you're doing to yourself. Okay? I mean, we have neurologists that will give you pharmaceutical drug, they will do tests and do all that stuff and give you pills or even do surgery. But at the end of surgery, can you walk? There are some people that do surgery and they can hardly walk. But they don't ask the question, why am I not being able to walk even though I've done the surgery? The question is not the surgery. The question is what the doctor did not do. And that's what the School of Symptometry is going to share with you. Our approach is different than the doctor approach. American School of the Symptometry doctor is going to find out what caused your immobility, loss of mobility. That's what we're going to find the underlying cause, or what caused the mobility, compared to doing the test and giving you a pill and still nothing happen. We're going to find out. And finding out, that's how you get to the bottom of the problem. Okay, so first of all, we know that because of the food and the water we drink, our diet uh, is full of filthy blood, okay, full of sludge, preservative, core type derivative, salt, onions, blood impurities. They're full. We are all are. But you need to find a way to minimize it. That's where symptometry comes in. So the blood impurities that you have in the blood will cover your motor neurons, okay, and nerve ending and dendrites. Okay. How does the motor neuron work? Brother and sister, I want you to hear me out. How does it work? Okay, the nerve ending transmit command from your brain and dendrite to receive command. Okay, for example, if the nerve ending transmit the brain command to wiggle your toes, raise your hand, raise your foot, stand and walk to the kitchen, and you don't hear it, it means the dendrite did not receive the command. The question is, why? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Why are you not receiving the command? Okay. The motor neuron have not, the dendrite have not received the command because of the sludge that we talk about, the impurities, the quartile derivative, the pesticide that is sprayed on our fruits and vegetables, inhaled insecticide and fungicide, and all the debris are covering your dendrites, making it impossible for dendrite to receive. Wiggle your toes, raise your hand, stand and walk, raise your right hand. Okay? Why are you not receiving it? Let me show you our approach. Why are you not receiving it? You're not receiving it because the person, the sludge is being held as a hostage by the covalent bonds that we have that is hindering the flow of oxygenated blood. That bond need to be smashed in order for blood to flow to your dendrites and your nerve ending. And unless you do that, nothing's going to happen. And that's where symptometry comes in. We have the solution for you. We will smash that covalent bond that is holding the nerve ending, the sludge. We will show you that so that you don't have to be hostage to all that stuff. So again, the solution is there, and we are here to help you with that. So there's a serious communication there. When they ask you to wiggle your toes and and your arms and feet and nothing's happening, is because your neurons are full, covered with sludge. And that sludge has to be removed. It has to be smashed with power, pressure, and particularly to make it the blood to flow seamlessly to yourself. That's the only way you can walk again. The doctors won't tell you that, but symptometry will tell you that is the problem you need to know. It's a simple solution, though, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. It's a simple solution, but if you don't know it, you'll be all over the map, investing in wheelchairs, investing in walkers. And don't tell me it's old age, because age doesn't have anything to do with it. It is the dirt in your blood that is causing that. Okay. And then the doctor will say, let's do surgery, especially people that do spinal surgery and all this stuff. Okay. The motor neurons are also in the spine, but you don't need folic acid. Instead, they need electrical power, strength, and force that I talk about. That acid that need to break down that covalent bond needs to be done. It needs to be done. If it's not, you will be going in circles. Nothing is going to happen. And you still, after the surgery, I have a friend who just had surgery, and no, Bright, she is not walking properly. She's in pain. It's been about 4 or 5 months. 4 or 5 months since she did the surgery, and she's in pain. Okay? So again, that person did not make use of symptometry, but now she knows that she made a mistake. But it's still not too late for the person to come back, because we will clean her up. We will make sure that the acid will break down the covalent bond to smash it in order for blood to flow to the cells. Okay, so if you can't walk, what can spinal surgery do? For the motor neuron to work again, we need to restore the communication between the brain and the toes. We need to, the brain and the toe need to be talking to each other. And they won't be talking to each other if that brain and the toes are full of sludge. The nerve ending are full of sludge. And how do you remove it? Again, we said the acid that we have will break and smash that bond that is holding your back, holding your leg, communicate the neurons so that the neuron can talk again. Okay? So when people say, okay, do surgery so that you can walk again, you need to ask them, what does it have to do with my motor neurons? You need to be asking probing questions because the doctor probably doesn't know because the doesn't know what they're telling you because they think that you never ask these questions. You need to ask, what does it have to do with me walking again? What happened to my motor neuron? That's where the problem is. Brothers and sisters, that's where the problem is. Your motor neurons are not responding. And until they respond, you're still going to be using a cane. You're still going to be using a wheelchair. And then when you need to go out, you need to call somebody to come and get you out the car and from the wheelchair and all this stuff. What about if the person is not there? What do you do? What about you have an emergency and there's no one to get you out of the house and you're in a wheelchair? What happens if there is an emergency, a fire, and you're stuck in a wheelchair, you can't go anywhere? So the onus is on you as a person that your health belongs to you because you will not have people, taking care of you 24/7 and you have to do it yourself. Okay? So again, surgery is not the answer, but cleaning the motor neuron from the sludge and the debris and the recombinant that have been piling up on your motor neurons and your dendrite is what is going to help you. Okay, so we know that surgery is not the answer, but people will do it because that's the only thing going. That is what is, do the back surgery, do the legs, do the surgery, do the knee surgery, do all that stuff. Do you really need surgery? Do you know that it's your nerves and all the stuff that you have in your body that is causing that? And do you know that you have the opportunity to really walk again if you want to? We're not magicians though. We tell it as it is because your motor neurons and the dendrites are full of sludge and debris. And like anything else, unless you clean the debris, you're not going to be able to walk again. So, again, for you to walk again, you need to make sure that the blood impurities on your motor neurons and dendrites and never has been smashed with enzyme to be able to for you to walk again. That's the way. And also you need to also change your dietary habits. You can't eat everything that comes on your plate. You have to cook, prepare your food scientifically, cook scientifically, and prepare your meat scientifically. Like anything that goes into your body, it needs to be great because your body is your temple. The blood is your, and you need to take care of it because if your cells are happy, you are going to be happy. Because if your cells are happy, you won't have to go to the doctor for the pill. You don't have to go and say, I can walk again because you are taking care of your cell and your nerve endings. So again, what are the solution that symptometry Dr. Nato will tell? What are the solutions for you for somebody who can walk, who is using a wheelchair, who is using a cane? And we know that your motor neurons are not responding to the commands. Walk, it can hear. Sit, it can hear. Wiggle your toe, it can hear. Because those nerve endings are full of sludge, and that sludge need to be removed. Okay, so if you're interested in just being on disabled, then maybe it's okay. For me, I can do that because I'm a runner. I want to make sure I can move. I don't want to be in a wheelchair. I want to make sure that because our body is made to move. Our body use physics, and physics motion is everything. You don't want to be able not to move. You want to move regardless of your age. You should be able to walk. And if you can't, surgery is not the answer. You need to find out, why can't I do this? What is wrong? Again, we talk about your motor neurons, your dendrites, that are not receiving the commands and the messages. And for them to receive it, it's up to you. It's up to us to make sure that we are cleaning them up and everything else. Okay? So you want to be mobile, you want to be able to walk again. Again, symptometry, our doctor will explain to you what you must do, how to change your diet, how to, as I said again, cook scientifically. Eat scientific. Prepare your food. When you bring things from the grocery store, how do you prepare your vegetables? How do you cook your greens? How do you do all the? How do you prepare your meat? Do you just do it on a grill for an hour and you think all is well? What about the injections that they put in the meat? Are you neutralizing all the ingestion? Again, if you're enrolled in symptometry class, we will tell you the why that you need to do that. The reason why you need to cook your food for certain hours. Again, that is knowledge. Knowledge for you for a lifetime. We live in a world that is full of garbage. It is very, very, it's a toxic planet that we live on, but that's the planet God has given us to live on. So whether we like it or not, we have to make it work. Okay? People talk about diet like, they talk about diet. It's not a diet. It's the way you prepare your food, the way you cook your food, the way you cook your meat. Okay? And as soon as they hear about diet, they just think that they have to do something. Yes, you have to change your lifestyle of how you cook your food. And that will help you reduce some of the impurities that you are putting in your blood. Right now you're eating chaotically. Okay? You're eating chaotically, you eat everything on your plate, you don't prepare them well, and it's up to you to do that. Okay, so the blood impurities that I talked about from the beginning is still there. How are you going to remove it so that you can walk again? So that your nerve endings and your dendrite can hear the message, the commands. It's not going to happen by the doctor giving you a pill and going to the pharmacy and getting the pill in for pain. No, it doesn't. The underlying cause must be removed. And when the underlying cause, you will feel better. You'll be able to walk again. You'll be able to do things again. The world is going to be interesting, because when you want to go somewhere, you don't need to call your daughter to pick you up because you can walk again. Okay, so we need to remove that sludge. And I told you that we do have the cleaning that we talked about from the beginning, the sludge in the motor neuron and all that stuff that we talked about that, accumulate in our blood will be removed by a bond breaking particulates with power, force, and strength to help you. It will smash that. And then, and you don't have to be eating everything that comes on your plate. You eat your food scientifically. and and prepare your food scientifically. Okay, and as a matter of fact, if you're cleaning out everything else, your lifestyle, if you change it, you will see a difference in how you feel and everything else. And if you choose symptometry as your route for walking again, no, you will find that symptometry will not even tell you. You will see the difference in your life. You will see how you sleep better, how you eat better, because you're eating the food that we have asked you to eat, not the belly fillers, not everything that gets into your plate. Okay, so we do have a way to help you, and we do have a reversal to produce enzyme per minute so that it will help you out when you eat chaotically. Even when you eat quickly, we have a reversal, particularly that will help you out to reverse the chaotic food that you put in your stomach. Again, how do you want to walk again? If you are in a wheelchair, if you're using a walker, what do you do? It's not the doctor giving you the pill and doing the blood work, but symptometry, you come into symptometry, well, we'll smash the bond, and that is holding all the dirt and under your dendrites and your neurons and all this stuff. We will smash it with particulate that has force, force and power and strength to help you. And when that is smashed, your blood will be moving like a speed of light, and you will see a difference in your life. That is the symptometry way. That is what the symptometry doctor will do for you. The symptometry doctor will not ask you to pop pills, because the pills are not going to do anything. As a matter of fact, it adds more problems to you. So, brothers and sisters, if you know of anyone, and I have friends that I've talked to about symptometry, if they're interested, but if you have friends that can walk and they really, really are struggling, the solution is here. Symptometry do have the solution. And again, that person might want to do this. Symptometry is not a magic place. It is a place where we teach you the science for you to use for yourself and your family. And we will help you with the particulates that will smash the bond that is holding the dendrites, all the blood impurities that you have on your nerve endings. And we will help you, and you will see a difference in your life. So, Brother Saheed, we have the solution, and symptometry will help you if the person wants to walk again. Loss of mobility is not final. If you want it to be final, it will. But if you want a change, come to symptometry, and we'll help you change your mobility so that you can walk again and be able to go to places without a wheelchair or a walker. Brother Saheed, assalamu alaikum.
Well, look, Mrs. Rita, that is excellent. We're going to see if any of our participants today that have joined us have any questions for you. But before we do, we're going to take a short break. So please call someone, ask them to join us. We have plenty of time left. We'll be talking about optimal health, how to achieve it, how to maintain it, and what we have to do. What is our responsibility to the rules, the laws of physics, how to keep in compliance with the filter, the pattern in creation. How do we maintain that pattern? How do we keep in compliance? Because this is why the person would be sick. This is why the person would be sick. The sickness just didn't pop out of nowhere. We violated the rule. We broke the law. So now there's a penalty. There's a price to pay. And sometimes we pay it with our life because we don't know. So now we have a science called symptomatic science, taking care and focus on the needs of our cells that the Almighty gifted us to take care of our health. They created us in the first place. Surely they know how to keep us healthy. And they do. They've been gifted with atomic intelligence. So brothers and sisters, we'll be right back. So please do not go anywhere at all. You're with Abdul Shaheed, your host, and your certified symptometry health coach here on AM 360. We'll be right back.
After 30 years of research, the results are in. Consumption of certain foods can be harmful to your physical and mental health. When diagnosed with a terminal illness and given a low chance of survival, Dr. Maxwell Nardi had a deep feeling that food had caused cirrhosis of his liver. When no cure was available through medication, after years of extensive laboratory research, he invented symptometric science and used it to save his life. Through research, Dr. Nardi discovered that some common foods are harmful to the human immune system, and that overconsumption can destroy stem cells. Stem cells govern the immune system and vital organs, like the liver, heart, and kidneys. Dr. Nardi's research offers cures for diseases, body aches, hair, and memory loss. He discovered by eating the right foods, necessary energy is created to help live a long, healthy life. Results from his incredible research is now available in the book, What to Consume, Mankind's Safest Consumables, now available through Amazon and Kindle. Listen to these verified Amazon customer reviews. 5 out of 5 stars. Very good information, mind-blowing. This book really opens your mind. It's a very short read. Once I started reading, I couldn't stop, so I finished it in one setting. I recommend this book for all. Thank you, Dr. Maxwell Nardi. Learn how to live a more healthy life today. Order What to Consume, Mankind's Safest Consumables by Dr. Maxwell Nardi at Amazon and Kindle.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters, with Abdul Shaheed and our guest, Mrs. Rita Teller. And we've been talking about loss of mobility. So if anyone have a question about that, about the subject, about any health condition, just unmute your mic and ask your question or make your comment. We thank you so very much for joining us today here on Optimal Health on AM 360. Any questions or comment from anyone? We know someone has to have a question now about how the neurons work, the axon of the neurons and the dendrites, how they function. The brain can send a message. You can say, well, get up and go to the refrigerator and get something out of it. But if the dendrites did not receive the message, nothing is going to happen. They can do all kinds of surgery. It's not going to change anything. It is neurons that operate our brain and our body. We must understand how they function.
Exactly.
So we have our movement, how the neurons function. There are motor neurons for movement, and there are sensory neurons for using our 5 senses. This is how it operates, brothers and sisters. Don't get it twisted. We are under the influence of chemicals that our own cell must produce. Neurons, neurotransmitter, hormone, enzyme. All of these things is what affect our behavior, affect our functionality, our ability to think and learn and focus and concentrate. If we don't produce all 12 neurotransmitters, we won't be normal human beings. If we have debris on our nerve ending of those neurons, the cell will not be able to communicate. Your brain will be sending command. You'll be saying, okay, let's get up. But nothing will be happening if you don't remove the debris Mrs. Rita just talked about. The sludge, the garbage, the particle waste. Because it is because we eat food that we have a problem. We have a problem because we eat food. And we eat food every day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day, some of us. And we never think about the sludge, the garbage, the calcification, the concretion, the calculi, the acid that we're consuming, as well as the poison that we're breathing from the air and the water we drink, the toxic metal, all these things, we're not doing anything to remove them. So our cells get congested with them. They are so tiny. They're so small and tiny. We're made of 75 to 100 trillion cells. Everything made out of cells. So you have to have a question. I know Ms. Rita is good in explaining what she explained today about loss of mobility and the function of those neurons and how they would do surgery. Surgery would never remove the source of the person's disease. Even though some people may need surgery to put bones back together to help them to mend. But most of the time, our own cell can correct everything about us. And when we need surgery, have the surgery. But when you don't need surgery, not going to do any good, what's the point of it? Money. It always goes back to money, brother and sister. And the more we don't know about our own health and our own body, the more money they make.
Exactly.
We have to be taught and trained how to take care of our own health, our own body. Now we have a place to go to get scientific, verifiable information about how to do that. So we can make excellent choices and decisions. This is what health is all about. And I agree. Everybody don't want to be healthy, Miss Rita.
No.
They just want to eat what they want to eat and do what they want to do at the time they want to do it. And their health is the last thing that's on the list.
Exactly.
It's the last thing that's on the list. They never think about the health of their cells. That's why they're sick. Then they run to the doctor to take a pill, take some pharmaceutical, and they never ask themselves the question, what did I do to cause this problem? What food did I eat that I should have ignored? What am I doing to take care of the needs of my cells? Am I aware that I'm made of cells?
Made of 96, 76.
Yeah, so we have a hand raised, Mrs. Rita.
Okay.
Sister Sherry, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question, make a comment. Thank you so very much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Assalamualaikum.
Well,
I find this subject very interesting. I am I studied cell molecular biology and neurobiology and biochemistry.
Okay.
So I understand where you're coming from, but I do want to know from you how this symptometry or symptometric science, because for me personally, I use forearm crutches. It has nothing to do with eating. I've been a vegan for over 20 years, since before college, and not just, I don't eat processed food, all of that. So I done this, and I studied food microbiology as well. I got kicked out of my mom's kitchen because I do this cleaning her cupboard. But I think also I wanted to know if you're making a distinction between that and people who have actual neurological conditions, that this is not the case. When you have nerve endings that have been damaged and destroyed, it's not like you can reverse that kind of nerve damage. Whether someone has, as I do, a collapsing spine, or that has been going on since I was like 12, from what I understand. It took 20 years to figure that out, or not 20, 15. But, there are circumstances where this is the case. The body is like people with cystic fibrosis and other conditions, muscular dystrophy.
Yeah.
Where it's so I think I wanted to hear you talk about the difference between that and what you're talking about with symptometric science.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you asked, and Brother Saheed will will chime in. If you have a symptom like somebody with cystic fibrosis and all this stuff, there is a reason. It's not because the person, there is a reason because your cells that you have has been hijacked by bonds, have been jacked by bonds that need to be smashed. That is the difference between symptometry science and medical science. Medical science will say, oh, you have an issue, so let's do surgery and it will go away. We're saying that you have a cell made of 76 million cells, and that cell need to be taken care of. And most of the issues, even if you have cystic fibrosis, even if you have that, you have an issue there that we can reverse by the bonds that are holding your nerves ending, that is holding that. So it's not that it cannot be reversed. People always will say, oh, it cannot be reversed because it's this and that. In symptometry science, we said it can be reversed because that bond that is holding the impurities that I talked about will be smashed. And when it's smashed and your blood is moving at the speed of light, you should be able to, the physical fibrosis should be able to reverse. We can reverse any condition, though. We can if the person is ready to do the heavy lifting. But again, medical science have a different approach, and we have a different approach. Or you say you are in charge of your health. And the health is that everything that you eat, and whether you are vegetarian or not, every food that you eat causes debris, regardless. Every food, the water you drink, the food that you eat, the air we breathe, it causes the debris. And that debris, as you start walking as a child, will build up along the way. And what do we do as we get older? It gets worse and will cause all these diseases that you have, but you go to the doctor and the doctor will give you a pill or whatever it is, and it does not solve it. The difference between our situation and the medical thing is that we go to the underlying cause of why did you have cystic fibrosis? Why do you have that? And then we will see that we can reverse it by smashing the bond that is holding the blood impurities that you have in your body. If you can do that, it doesn't matter, you be able to walk again or do whatever. So the difference between ours is that we get to the source of it and we eliminate the source of it. And once we eliminate the source of it, you can walk again or you can do it. Everything in symptometry is reversible. I'm telling you today, it's if the person is willing to do the heavy lifting. But we are not willing to change our diet. We are not willing to cook our food scientifically. We are not willing to do all that. But that's the difference. And so if Brother Saheed would like to add more to it, to explain to her too, that would be fine, Brother Saheed. Go ahead and help the lady too and add to my points.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Rita. Here's the thing. The Almighty created us with cells. And what he used? Over 200 different types of cells, over 75 to 100 trillion of them. Cells for everything. Cells for everything. And our cells divide to produce a new cell to replace old cells. This is the problem. The person ate something or was exposed to something that prevented cell division. So the cell not able to divide. Our cells are like tiny factories. They produce everything to maintain normalcy. This is what we're sharing. Our body produces everything to maintain normalcy. And when it cannot do that, it will send us a sign called symptom, which is an indication that we have veered off the paradigm of what's normal. We're not normal anymore. If we don't put it back to normalcy, put things back to normalcy, this is a natural law. It's the natural law of automation. Whatever is weak must be strengthened. Taking pharmaceutical would never strengthen the heart. Taking pharmaceutical would never strengthen the liver, the kidney, the gallbladder. We have to remove the blood impurities. So the blood removed with speed, nourishing the cell. The enzyme that must be produced, and the enzyme must not be deactivated or denatured. We eat chaotically, so we don't even have the good enzyme because we deactivate them, we denature them. All food on planet Earth has health disruptors. There's no perfect food for us to eat, period. This is what we must face. There's no perfect food. The food is contaminated. It has loaded with preservative. That's what causes our disease. The preservative. There are natural preservatives in the food that the plant produce themselves. They're called allergens. And when we consume and expose to these chemicals, natural and man-made, doesn't make any difference. We have to have the knowledge to remove them from our blood so they don't jam the cell. The cells are jammed. The neurons are jammed. The nerve endings are jammed. Now, if we do not have a method to remove the debris, the calcification, all these things that jamming the cell, jamming the nerve, the neurons, this is what we get. And doing surgery, we never remove those things. So we have subatomic particles. They're called particulates. Subatomic particles. They're called particulates. The first person that used them lived in the 1700s. Believe it or not, his name was Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, a surgeon. He got tired of performing unnecessary surgery, and he knew there had to be a better way. So he used a process called sucursion to take a molecule and reduce it to a polymer with nothing but positive energy for healing. That's what's in a particulate. That's what makes it different from pharmaceuticals. It removes the source of the person's problem that's hindering the cell from functioning. If our cells are functioning, blood is moving at the speed of light, and we're eating scientifically rather than chaotically, not using some kind of special diet. No special diet will help a person. The food must be selected scientifically by selecting the food with the least amount of health disruptors and the most nutrients. And you must know how to release the nutrients from food because they are locked up in molecular bonds. Often we eat food and we have no nutrient release because we ate the food raw. You cannot eat raw food and expect to get nutrients from it. Doesn't work that way. The nutrients are locked up in molecular bonds, covalent bond, ionic bond, hydrogen bond, triple covalent bond. And we must apply heat, tremendous heat, to release the nutrients. This is what the cell is not getting, nutrients and resources to do their job to keep us healthy. So the person who has multiple sclerosis, you ask them what they have been eating, and there you will find the answer as to why they have multiple sclerosis. They eat nuts and seeds. There's poison in all nuts and seeds. There's fungus in nuts and seeds. There's prussic acid in nuts and seeds. There's cyanide, arsenic in nuts and seeds. So they're poisoning themselves. There are microbes in salads. People eat salad, think that's healthy. There are microbes in them. They can't see them. Then you have the pesticide, the fungicide, the rodenticide that they did not remove from them. Because most people did not soak them in iodized salt solution to remove those things. Then they have microbes on them, fungus, protozoa, worms, parasites. And when they find a nice warm place to live, and with food being provided, they're not going anywhere. You have to know how to force them out of the person's body. They will produce many blood impurities, slowing the blood down. These would be the reason why the person will have these problems. And we're saying here that if you modify your diet by selecting your food scientifically, there's a scientific way to select food based on not deactivating your enzyme once you're able to produce them. Enzyme is everything. Circulation is everything when it comes to our health. If the blood can't get to your toes, well, you're going to have a problem. Calcification will take the place of nutrients and resources, even in our brain. There's a reason why the person has mental anomaly. Do the doctor go to the source? Do psychiatry and psychology go to the source of what's causing the person to have mental anomaly? No, they do not. Remove the source, reduce hormone and enzyme, neurotransmitter, the person can get their normalcy back.
Exactly.
And some have done it many times. People who have the inability to walk, nonverbal autistic, person 18 years old and never spoken, come to symptometry, 3 or 4 months, they're speaking. How is that possible? They never spoke in their life. They're 18, 20 years old. Because their doctors do not understand the mechanism that's unseen in the human body. Many of the instruments, the technology, do not discover 25% of what they're able to look for. It's unseen. See, the human being is the intersection between the seen and the unseen. That's why the person must have a good knowledge of quantum physics. The unseen. That's the human being. Most of the doctrine have never explained or defined a human being. And they practice on cadaver, something that not living. That's what they're trained upon.
And then to add to it, the young lady question, the difference between symptometry science and medical science is that we get to the source. We find out the source. What is causing your problem? Once you find the source, we do have the solution of particulates that will break the bond that is holding you up for not being able to speak or not be able to walk. We'll be able to do that. And again, it also comes from the client. The client should be able to, forgo certain foods like the nuts and the milk and the phosphoprotein and all that stuff that we say don't eat them because it will impact your DNA. And it will hide, so you need to do that. And that's what the difference between we believe in food science also, because food is everything. We eat from the day we are born with breast milk to the day we die. Food is everything. We eat. Whenever we eat, it causes debris. Every food is not perfect, but you have to remove the debris that have been piling up since day one, and it's still there. Old age doesn't have anything to do with that. But unless you remove that debris with power, strength, and particulates, you're going to not be able to walk. You're not going to be able to address your issue. And the pills that they're giving you, yes, it will help you for a month, but you will start right back where you started it. And so that's the difference between symptometry science and medical science.
So we know it may sound like science friction, but the Almighty created us in such a way that we can reverse every condition if we're willing to do the work, the heavy lifting. If we're willing to do the heavy lifting. He created us perfect. And this is what we fail to realize. There's no improvement we can make on this body we have. We've been gifted with. And the more and more we study the cells and what their capacity is, what their role is, the more and more we recognize the majesty of the Almighty. He created us to live on this toxic planet. But if we ignore ourselves, then that's where the problem comes in. And there's no doctor that focuses on the needs of ourselves. Only one place you can go. That's symptomatic science. No place you can go to focus on the person's DNA, how to repair DNA. Most people don't even know that the DNA can be repaired. As long as the DNA is in disrepair, the genes that came together to make us, to produce us, will never release the blueprint, the set of instructions to produce protein, to synthesize protein. There's a genetic code in the gene for synthesizing protein. If our cells do not receive that message, then the person going to be stuck with their disease. Doesn't make a difference what name they call it. It doesn't matter. They're violating the natural law. They're violating the rules of health. They violated the pH rule, the speed law, the iron rule. All of these are rules of health that no one has taught us about, except one place, the American School of Symptometry, for those people who want to be healthy, who want to reverse their condition, not be stuck with a disease. Making a difference? Doesn't make any difference what name they call it. Who want to be stuck with a disease? You can't be happy if you have a disease in your body. You can't do what you've been sent here to do. So the Almighty created us, but we're not supposed to have a disease. We're not supposed to have a disease. That's the first thing. Why do we have a disease?
We broke the rules.
We broke the rule. No one taught us anything about the laws of physics. None of them. The rules of health. How to remove blood impurities. What food should we avoid based on our condition? We just think we can just eat. And we equate eating food with healthy eating. Most of the food is belly filler, just to fill the belly. There's no nutritional value whatsoever. And most people, that's how they choose the food to eat. Exactly. What they like, what they love, what smells good, what tastes good. Not how nutrition it is for them. Not if you're going to do something to help the cells to do their work. And their work is keeping us healthy. And every time our cell divide, produce a new cell to replace old cell, they're able to produce brain, body, and cell essentials to maintain normalcy. When they don't divide, abnormalcy would be the order of the day. You can give the disease any name you want to give it. But it's anomaly, that's the problem. Abnormalcy is the problem. We violated something.
Yeah.
So this is symptometry, and that's the difference between what we do and what the other therapeutic, not just allopathic medicine, all of them, they go back to treating symptoms. Symptom is not a disease. It's an indication that the person has veered off normalcy. Now, how you get back to normalcy? You start with the cell and what's inside the cell. The nucleus inside each cell. Inside the nucleus, gene, DNA, chromatin, chromosome. We all need to know the function of those. So we protect our DNA. If the DNA is compromised and fragmented, the genes will never release the blueprint, never. That means the person is going to be stuck with their anomaly, whatever it is. Doesn't make any difference. They're going to be stuck with it. They'll carry it to the grave until they repair DNA, because the gene will not release the instruction. This is how it is. Symptometry know how to release the instruction, how to repair DNA. There's an enzyme called DNA polymerase that repairs DNA. DNA can become fragmented hundreds of times in one day based on what we're being exposed to, based on what we eat, what we drink, and the chemicals and substance that's in the air we breathe, in your home, in your car. These things are everywhere. This is where the human body is high maintenance. It takes a lot to keep our body in good repair. But no one is teaching us what to do. That's why the person would be sick.
Daily cleansing.
Absolutely.
Daily cleansing. The young lady that had the question, do you have an additional questions or did we answer your
I
question?
think we beat that horse enough.
Do we have an additional one? Because I'm about to leave, and Dr. Shaheed, thank you so much for adding more points to it. We symptometry science is in a different lane, and we get to the source of it. That's our solution. We get to the source and
remove the
find out.
source.
Yeah, go to the source. When we find the source, we can reverse anything. Because if you don't know the source, you're just walking in the dark. You need to know what the source is. Why can't you walk? Why can't you breathe? Why can't you drink water? You know, there's some people that can drink water. Yeah, we get to the source and we will get it corrected. And again, the mission of symptometry is to enhance the well-being of ourselves. That's all we do. That's all we do. Enhance the well-being of ourselves. And once you take care of ourselves, everything will be fine. I mean, yes, you're going to have issues, but
automation will kick
in. Automation, and remember, circulation is everything. If your blood is not circulating through your body and it's not oxygenated, you're not going to be able to live that. Circulation. That's why the blood should move at the speed of light. Circulation, because that's what you need in your body. So, Brother Shaheed, I think.
Mr. Reedy, we thank you for joining us today. And it's an excellent topic that you shared. Loss of mobility, and we look forward to spending some time with us on next Monday.
Next Monday. I'm the same. Everybody else, happy Labor Day today, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good evening. Brothers and sisters, we're going to take a short break, and hopefully you can come back with more questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. And we should understand that the Almighty don't want us to have diseases. The Almighty do not want us sick. He wants us healthy and well, so we can carry out responsibility. It is to make a difference on this planet. We can't do it if our brain is falling apart, because our body is falling apart. They're connected. They're interconnected, interrelated, integrated, interdependent. They depend on each other. This is the problem. We've taken things for granted. And we think just because we eat a meal, we're going to be healthy. No, and no. We can eat the best meal, and there's still things that we must do after eating to remove the debris, the sludge, the concretion, the poison, the toxins that's in the food. It must be removed. If not, we'll be stuck with our disease. So, brothers and sisters, we're going to take a short break with Abdul Shaheed, your certified symptometry health coach, and your host here on Optimal Health on AM 360. We'll be right back.
Every anomaly has a cause. For generations, we've only scratched the surface of understanding mental health. Dr. Maxwell Marty, using the pioneering science of symptometry, delves deeper than ever before, catering to the needs of cells and blood, not just symptoms. With a fresh new approach, uncover the building blocks of your health. Redefining health science. Discover the underlying causes of mental anomalies. The book that's changing everything we know about health. Available now. Take charge of your health journey.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters. You're with Abdul Shaheed, your host on Optimal Health here on AM 360. Brothers and sisters, I'm sure you have questions. If you don't have a question, hopefully you have a comment that you can share with all of us about your health condition and what you found out that can improve your health. Yeah, too many sick people in the world, brothers and sisters. Too many sick people in the world. And the world is getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And this is a problem, because they're using the wrong therapeutics to get their health back. Sister Manira, I see your hand raised. You can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question or make your comment. Thank you for joining us today here on Optimal Health on AM 360.
Yeah, thank you for this presentation. It's very thought-provoking. And I wanted to ask about the natural enzymes that are in food. When we overcook our food, we kill off those enzymes. If we clean our food properly with the salt and iodine, the iodized salt, and eat food in its raw state, will that help with the enzymes in our bodies?
Here's the problem with raw food. And here's also what we must understand. The Almighty created us with cells. I had the cells up earlier. I'm going to put it back up. I want us to understand what we're made from, what created us. The living cell. That's a diagram of the cell. It is our cells that produce everything, brothers and sisters. They do everything for us. Our enzyme is the first thing that our cell produce. Enzyme. We can't get enzyme from eating plants. You can eat them raw or you can cook them. It makes no difference. The enzyme that comes from plants are for the plants. And humans must produce their own enzyme. How do you produce enzyme? This is what we should know. There are two portions of the enzyme, two portions. The protein portion and the minerals or vitamin portion. The protein portion is called apoprotein. They are the building blocks of protein called amino acids. Brothers and sisters, our DNA is made of 20 amino acids. If any one of those amino acids is missing, it will cause the DNA to become fragmented. If our DNA is fragmented, genes will never release the blueprint, set of instruction, the genetic code, so to speak, for synthesizing protein. Brothers and sisters, we are protein. Everything about the human being is protein, and it can be replaced. Our cell replaced protein. That's called collagen. Collagenate fiber is what we make, not cellulose fiber that people eat from plants. We're not plants. We are human. We're not even animal. We are human. Animal collagen is different from human collagen. And foundation of a plant is cellulose, polysaccharide, which is a starch. We have to know the difference between these. Before man discovered fire, there are about 300,000 people on this planet. And when man discovered fire and started cooking his food, health, longevity took off on this planet Earth. Longevity took off. That means people start living longer and longer and longer because of cooking food. Now we have almost 9 billion people on the planet. Absolutely incredible. One thing happened in the history of man. The one who discovered fire used a neurotransmitter, used his neurons to come up with an idea to rub 2 stones together to create fire and to change the trajectory of human on this planet. And we don't even recognize it today. While we're here, and I'm 75 years old, because we're cooking our food. Now, at the same time, we have people in our population that want to take us backwards to eating raw food. The human being cannot consume raw food. There's too many problems with raw food. Every plant on planet Earth, brothers and sisters, produce poison in order to survive. And they must survive. They were here before human. Why were plants here before human? The main function of plants on planet Earth, brothers and sisters, is not that we can eat them, that they purify the air so we can breathe. If you're not able to breathe, you certainly wouldn't be able to eat. Breathing is the priority. That's why all plants are on planet Earth. They take and purify the air. They're like sponges, like a vacuum cleaner, removes the impurity from the air, and still man happens to pollute everything, even after all that effort from plants. So plant must be here. So we're trying to cut them all down or try to eat them all up. when it's impossible. They must be here. That's why they were here first. And some plants can live thousands of years. We should be learning from them how to do that. How are they doing that? There are redwood trees, sequoia trees in California, and they've already done carbon dating over 2,000 and 3,000 years old. And they learn to live with diseases. We should be learning from them. That's what symptometry is doing, learning from them, not trying to eat all of them up. So we have to select our food scientifically, Sister Manira. And that's what symptometry have figured out. That will not hurt our cells. That will focus on the needs of our cells. And here's what symptometry did. Because a thought came to Dr. Maxwell Nordy one night or early one morning, because he was trying to reverse his condition. His doctor had given up on him. He had many diseases. He was the sickest person in his family. He had cirrhosis of the liver. He had cancer on his leg, chronic nosebleed, severe acne, and other issues, on and on and on. And the doctor gave up on him. They were not able to reverse his liver cirrhosis. So he started studying himself. He became a doctor of homeopathic medicine. And he said he didn't learn anything to help himself. And became a doctor of natural health, looking for the answers. Could not find anything to help himself. So the thought came to him one night early, to analyze the food that he was eating. So he had access to a laboratory. He took food into the laboratory like a crime scene investigator. This crime scene investigator shows up at the crime scene and they gather the evidence. Where do they take it, Sister Manira? That evidence. Are you still with us?
Yes, yes, I am.
Where do the crime scene investigator take the evidence they collect at the crime scene?
I'm not sure.
They take it to the laboratory to be tested.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yes, sir.
That's why they send the people at the crime scene investigator. That's why they send them there.
Yeah, they're looking for DNA and all that.
Yes, absolutely. Because the culprit who was at the crime scene, they always leave something behind. This is what Dr. Nordy did with food, with water, with beverages, with fruits and juices. He took them into the laboratory. Can you imagine that? And he began to test food in the laboratory with a chromatography machine. That chromatography machine has a data bank that will tell what chemical structure, what molecule was in the food. And there he discovered the health disruptors in all food. There's no perfect food on planet Earth. He saw all food has health disruptors. That means that will make the person sick, that will make someone sick if they fail to produce the enzyme to thoroughly digest what's in the food. That's why people are sick. They deactivated, denatured their enzyme, and the enzyme is not working. They're not working in them. So they're eating food that they cannot digest thoroughly. And that food leaves growth factor behind for microbes to gravitate to them. And those microbes will enter their blood, producing more toxin, more poison, more waste. This is what he discovered. In nuts and seeds, he saw the cyanide and the prussic acid and the arsenic. He saw saturated fat when our cell requires unsaturated fat. He saw these chemicals in the food, chemicals in rice, more vanadium and molybdenum in brown rice, and yellow rice, and black rice, more arsenic in the rice of those types. He saw the sorbitol in bananas and other fruits that will cause cataract and blindness and glaucoma. He saw the health disruptors in the lagoon plants, the spontaane, the phytals, the ammonia, the chlorophyll, the ferulic acid. He found all of plants on earth produce 3 chemicals that will make a person sick, at least 3. These would be the ammonia, that's a poison to a human. Even our own body produces ammonia, that will kill us if it's not processed by our liver quickly. Our own body produces internal acids that will kill us if we don't keep things normal. So he found the health disruptors. That's when he discovered them. For the first time, no one had taken food into a laboratory and tested them with a chromatography machine to determine what's in the food, what molecule, what elements. And crops grow on soil, brothers and sisters. Crops grow on soil. What is soil? Pulverized minerals and rocks. That's what soil is. So do you think the food has toxic metal in them? Yes, they do, because they're grown on soil, made of rocks, which are pulverized metal and minerals. This is just talking about just the food. We hadn't gotten to water yet. We hadn't gotten to the air yet. And it goes on and on and on. And by law, preservative must be in all food that's manufactured and processed in this country. That's a whole nother slew of chemicals that we're exposed to. And once those chemicals get at our blood, that would be the reason why the person would be sick. How do you remove them? Sometimes you have a method to remove them. Sister Madeira?
Yeah, so just to follow up.
Okay.
The disruptors that Dr. Nordy saw when he analyzed the food, is that because of the toxins in our environment that leach into the foods that we eat?
Absolutely, that's part of the reason, because everything, man has managed to pollute everything. Even without polluting everything, there's still toxins in the food. Those chemicals that the plant produce to keep them healthy. The plants must survive so human can breathe on this planet. So we have to know how to cook the food in such a way that it neutralizes the plant chemical, the plant toxin. That's what cooking is. It neutralizes the chemicals that's in plants, so it doesn't compromise the human cell. If you don't cook the food, well, there's poison in it. There's health disruptors in it. And then you won't get the nutrients or the resources that we're looking for. What we need from plants are the nutrients and resources, the few amino acids that's in them, and the vitamin and the mineral that's in them. That's all we need. We don't need the plant cellulose fiber, and we don't need the plant toxin. That's what cooking is all about, to neutralize the toxin and at the same time to release the nutrients that's locked up by molecular bonds. This is why the food must be cooked. This is why meats must be cooked scientifically to release the amino acids. This is why plants are incomplete protein. They only have a few amino acids. But flesh food has more amino acids. They're called complete protein. Plants are called incomplete protein for that reason. We need the amino acid to produce, number one, enzyme, the main portion of the enzyme. The second portion of the enzyme is a mineral or a vitamin. Most of them are B vitamin. So if we have the B vitamin, we can produce thousand upon thousand of enzyme of our own. Then we have to ensure that we don't deactivate the enzyme by exposing ourselves to a toxic, to a poison, the strong acids, to high temperature, to extreme cold, extreme heat, alcohol. These are items that would deactivate enzymes. Radioactive isotope, radiation, deactivate enzymes. They won't work. And that would be the reason why the person would be sick. It's not because they didn't choose some herb to take this morning or didn't use some pharmaceutical drug. It would be because they deactivate their enzyme to digest food that we all need. And food will become the problem. The microbe will gravitate to the person, producing more blood impurities. And they won't go anywhere until you remove the blood impurity from the blood. Well, most people don't know how to do that. Sometimes they use subatomic particles, they're called particulates, to sanitize our blood. This is what must happen almost in every case. The blood impurities are so high and so many that they're making the person sick and they're jamming the cells because of their chaotic eating. We thought all we had to do was just eat some food. Every food that we eat, brothers and sisters, will produce debris because there's salt in our blood, and salt is a reactor. It reacts with all of the nutrients, react with all of the toxin, it reacts with all of the acid, it reacts with everything that's in the food. And this is where the debris is coming from. And then we got to breathe the air that's polluted. It's not all oxygen. A lot of pollutants. We're breathing them. They're stuck in our lungs. They're stuck in our mucous membrane. And they get in our blood and they go everywhere, even to our brain. And they will add up and pile up. Those particle waste, we don't know how to remove them. These are things we must do every day to be healthy, brothers and sisters. This is called maintenance and upkeep for the price of living on this planet. Who's doing this? Mostly no one, unless you're familiar with symptomatic science or symptometry, and you've been taught to remove blood impurities daily so they don't pile up. At the American School of Symptometry, we have studied over 70 blood impurities that will be circulating in the person's blood, jamming the cell. The cells are so tiny, so small, that we cannot see them. And that would explain why it's so easy for them to become congested. A person have diabetes because the liver is congested. The pancreas is congested. The adrenal cortex is congested. And taking insulin every day will not remove the congestion. Come to symptometry and reverse diabetes because the drugs won't work. It's just a matter of time the person will become insulin resistant, but they won't be able to digest and regulate glucose at all. What are they going to do when the glucose level get up to 800, 1,000? What are they going to do? They're using the wrong method, brothers and sisters. Any method that ignore our cells and don't make our cells a priority is deviating from the rules of health, from the laws of physics, from the natural law, from the universal law, the law of automation, a deviation. There's a price to pay for deviating. So, Sister Manira, I want a roundabout way to answer your question.
Yes, sir. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the tour of that roundabout way. You know,
there are no incurable disease. It's up to the person that has the disease to put things back to normalcy. That is our first rule to health. First rule number one, we are responsible. Nobody can do this for us.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's coming to save us. And we've tried everything. Before being a student of symptometry or coming to symptometry for help, I tried everything. and I was diligent at it. It was the wrong methods. I didn't know anything about sales, and nobody mentioned anything about sales until I started getting more acquainted with symptometry. The Almighty created us out of cells. They have atomic intelligence. They know how to figure out everything. All we got to do is take care of them. And they're excellent at taking care of us. They created us.
Yeah.
That's what the Almighty used. He used cells. We started with one cell. When the sperm ignited with the egg, the big bang went off and life began. Conception, that's what they call it. And our cell on a continuous course of expansion and cell division since then. And then when we stop cell division, based on what we're eating, what we're exposed to, and the substance we use to reverse our condition, that will cause the cells to not divide. And that will cause the person's condition to become more and more chronic until their life is at stake. Because without cell division, the cell cannot produce enzyme, hormone, neurotransmitter to maintain normalcy. So matters will get worse and worse and worse. That's what happens.
What are your thoughts about herbs?
Herbs are derived from plants.
And dehydrating them and putting them in capsules and everything.
They won't work in terms of reversing the disease. Food would not reverse a disease. Herbs would not reverse a disease. Pharmaceutical would not reverse a disease. Here's why. All of those substances that I just mentioned, they have two components. They have plus and minus. They have positive and negative. Every substance that Mother Nature produces has positive and negative. Why is that? To keep the balance. We have to take it another level, and that's what symptometry have discovered. In the 1700s, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, the father of so-called homeopathic medicine, he invented a process called succursion. Look it up. That's taking a natural substance from Mother Nature and removing the negativity from it and producing a polymer, a particulates, with nothing in it but positive energy for healing. This is what we need to do with herbs. This is what symptometry have done. This is what the symptomatic science has done. This is what Dr. Samuel Hahnemann did almost over 200 years ago. The first person to use particulates to reverse diseases. He himself was a surgeon, and he got tired of doing unnecessary surgery. So he invented how to remove the negativity from herbs, from plants, from animals, from creatures, and turning those things into remedy to reverse diseases in humans. Because now all you had left remaining positive energy for healing. This is the contribution of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. 200 years later, Dr. Maxwell Norton explained how they work. And he's discovering and inventing more of them to take care of every anomaly that a human being has. The Almighty put everything in the ecosystem to reverse every disease. And this is the purpose of symptometry, to discover all of those, substances, to deactivate diseases, to put things back to normalcy. So we have to remember that everything that Mother Nature produced has two components, one positive, one negative. And that's what's in the herb. The herb has benefit, but also have negativity. Drugs, the same thing. They have benefit and they have risk. You have to weigh the risk. And the drug, the pharmaceutical, have three things in them that will make the person worse. We study those things at the American School of Symptometry. Those three things in every drug. So we'll be talking about the history of pharmaceuticals, how they came about, how they been in control of health care, which is really sick care in the world for almost 2,000, 3,000 years. And people have gotten sicker and sicker and sicker, and nobody is healthy. If they work, people would be healthy. We're teaching people how to become disease-free, free of disease, because disease is a distraction for a human being. There's no way you can be at your best because the body is integrated, interdependent, interrelated, and interconnected. A disease anywhere eventually will become a mental illness. These are the facts. And we're not trying to pretty them up because people need to wake up. We've been bamboozled with medical science. We've been hoodwinked with medical science. I know people don't want to hear that, but those are the truth. The Almighty created us perfect. He put everything inside of us to deal with every condition here on this planet. He didn't leave out anything because he knew what we had to deal with. So he created us in such a way that we can maintain our health on this toxic planet, even with all of the microbes and poison dominating. That's what he did. Now we are discovering how he did it.
Yes, I believe what you're saying. I have type 2 diabetes, and I've been taking tablets for over 20 years.
Yes.
And it has not cured.
If you work with me for 3 months, if you work with me and follow instruction for 3 months, you can be free of diabetes. I helped a person, her glucose level was over 800. That was almost 10 years ago. And she never had a problem since. And she tells me all the time, she's so thankful. She never had a problem. And she had a sister that did not work with me. It was a few years she passed away, complication of diabetes. Same family member, same family. Isn't that amazing? So symptometry is not just blowing smoke. It works. Otherwise, I would not be sitting here touting it and speaking about it. I'm not that kind of person. I wouldn't do it. Why would the Almighty give us diseases that we can't reverse? What's the point of that? He wants us healthy and alive and well. You don't need us where he is. He needs us healthy with our brain intact, solving problems, expanding ourselves, expanding and expansion to the universe. Our creativity, our understanding need to expand. Not be restricted and held down and held back. Just the reverse. So now we understand the needs of our cells. Now we understand what oxygen is all about and what circulates oxygen. Oxygenated blood must be circulated everywhere. If calcification interrupts that circulation, you're going to have a problem. That problem can be in our liver, that problem can be in our brain, that problem can be in our toes. These are realities. Oxygen must be everywhere, brothers and sisters. It sustains life. Why does it sustain life? Why does oxygen sustain life? Why is it the life sustainer? Because it has force, energy, and automation, where things happen automatically. and it's very difficult for you to explain it. So if every cell of our body gets oxygenated blood through circulation, we will never have a disease. The cell will do what they are programmed to do, to restore normalcy and keep normalcy. But there's a lot that we have to learn in order for that to happen. Selecting our food scientifically, cooking our food scientifically, and learning how to navigate planet Earth using science. These would be the reason why the person would be sick, and they ignore their cells that they're made of. And every therapeutic they go to never mention the cell. They're always trying to do something to replace them. The cell cannot be replaced. We're made out of them. How are you going to replace something that you made out of? Take care of them. They're excellent at taking care of us. They are gifted with atomic intelligence. That means they are super smart. And we should follow them rather than following us. So if you have a question, brothers and sisters, don't be afraid, even though I sometimes speak with a loud, commanding voice, but I'm a small little person. When I get in the host seat, I can't help myself. I have to speak with command on the knowledge. That's what I have trained myself to do. And that's what I do. But don't be afraid. So if anyone have a question or comment to make, here's the time. Excellent time for it. And we certainly appreciate you joining us today here on Optimal Health on AM 360. We have a lively discussion about mobility. We must produce billions of neurons every day, brothers and sisters. Billions of neurons. We must produce 12 neurotransmitters. 12 of them. I did not say 2 of them that we must produce. I did not say 3 of them that we must produce. I said 12. Some people are not producing 2. Some people fail to produce the most sprawling one, the acetylcholine, for learning, for studying, for thinking, for contemplation, for paying attention. You have attention deficit syndrome if you don't have acetylcholine. You'll become forgetful if you don't have acetylcholine. You have dementia and become senile and full-blown Alzheimer if your cells are not producing acetylcholine. It has nothing to do with age. Sister Manira, if you have another comment or question, go right ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. Are there any specific blood tests that we can get that will show us these types of deficiencies, the nutrients we need for healthy cells?
Absolutely. If you just get a basic blood test, the average basic standardized blood test can test over 72 different items about your blood. And people bring those blood tests to symptometry, and we help them to analyze it. See, the doctor give you that blood test, even if sometimes you got to beg for a copy of it, and then he don't explain it. He doesn't explain it. But if you look at it and analyze it, we can point out the red flags, the area in which you need to be focused on to improve. This is the whole point of having the lab report. What are your what's the blood count? What's the hemoglobin? What's the platelet count? What's the albumin? What are the globulins? What's your filtration force on your kidneys? All of these things mean something. All of these things mean something. Your oxygen level. Without oxygen, you're on the way out of here. The speed of your blood, you need to know. How acidic is your urine? How acidic is your blood? What is the blood pH? The pH of our blood, what is it? It will be based on what you're eating and drinking and the food that you consume and what therapeutic you're using. How much hydration are in the cells? All of these questions, that's what your lab report will give you. It will show the red flags, your triglyceride level, your HDL, LDL. A pregnant woman must have a full reservoir of HDL in order to have a healthy baby. If you're consuming the wrong fats and oil, you're going to have a problem, a health problem. This is what produces plaque in the artery, the veins and capillary, not just in the heart, but in your kidneys, in your liver, in your lungs, and you eat the wrong food, you can have blood clots, and your doctor will have no clue of what's producing them and where they're coming from. That lab report will tell you if you have blood clots or not. Sometimes they know how to neutralize them without surgery. And what your iron level is. And all iron is not the same. It's different. So you go to the health food store or you take a prescription from your doctor, it says ferric iron or ferrous iron. You don't know which one to use. And your doctor said, well, you need to avoid salt. So you don't cook with any salt. That is not healthy. You must cook with salt. You just need to know the right salt. These are things that you must know because you have a body to take care of. You have cells to take care of. But we take all these things for granted. What kind of water do you drink? You can't drink tap water. You can't cook with tap water. They have chemicals, microbes in some of them, toxic metal in some of those. What's the qualification of great drinking water? You need to know. What's the pH of the water you should drink that might make your blood over acidic or over alkaline? It must be balanced. Do you know what that is? No, most people don't. These are the reasons why the person will be sick. So that blood analysis is very, very important. And I work with people and go over it to help improve it. You should know the filtration force of your kidney. Your kidney does so many different things in our body. You need to know how much hemoglobin you have. You must know what's your HDL number and your LDL number and all of the other minerals that make up our body. You can learn and gather from the blood analysis. You need to make sure that they are within range, the reference number. If you have too much fat, too much triglyceride, you can end up with a fatty liver, fat degeneration of the heart, fat degeneration of the kidney, based on what you're eating. Makes all the difference in the world. So that's an excellent question. Yeah, blood analysis. That's the first thing. If you can have that, have a copy, come to Symptometry, and we can help you in many different ways. That's what we need to do. We need to take full responsibility for our health. We have to be fully engaged. We must not outsource our health to anyone. We are responsible. The Almighty gifted us with this body that afford us to have life on this planet. You can't be here if you don't have a body. If you have work to do here and a mission, well, you have to take care of your body, take care of your health. That's what that's all about, taking care of the body and the brain. We have cells, we have the body, and we have the brain. We have to take care of all three. And we have to take care of our DNA. And we must remove blood impurities daily. This is what health entails. And we have to become our own self-advocate, brother and sister. We have to advocate for ourselves. You go to the doctor, you have to ask questions. Do I need that injection of radioactive isotope in my spine? You can refuse it. You don't have to have that just so the doctor can see a clear image. How long will that stay in your blood? And if radioactive, how much is it going to compromise your cells from that radioactivity? You're already exposed to radiation everywhere, from the sun, from the food you're eating. All crops are radioactive. Now, what are you going to do about it? These are the questions that we have to answer to be healthy and get our health back. And you have to be smart about it. You can't be blasé about it and think things just going to fall in place. You have to be consciously doing what you have to do to reverse your condition. And no one is going to do it for you or for us. Let's put it like that. I learned the hard way too. So I got in the position where I tell my doctor what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. And they're okay with that because this is my body. I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry to be long-winded.
Yes, it did. It did, and then some. Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, brothers and sisters. There are no incurable disease. Every disease can be reversed. Matter of fact, that is our responsibility to put things back to normalcy. That is a natural law. And this law states that whatever is abnormal, we must put back to normalcy. Whatever is weak must be strengthened by us, by you. If your heart is weak, it is your responsibility to strengthen your heart. No drugs, no herb will strengthen your heart. Our body is based on physics. 94% physics. 6% chemistry. And you go to the doctor, get all that chemistry in the pharmaceutical and all those herbs, which is chemistry, you're going to be disappointed. Our body is based on physics. The whole universe is based on physics. So when we break the laws of physics, we will have anomaly. And those anomaly will turn into full-blown diseases every time we violate the laws of physics, the rules of health, the speed of the blood, the pH of the blood, all these things we must know. We have a body, so why you don't know? If we don't know something about how our body functions, the question is why you don't know. When the Almighty gifted you with it, you should at least take the time to figure out how it operates. Not just being smart. So when you make your return, you won't be making excuses that I didn't know. You know how that's going to sound? When the Almighty gifted you with a 3-pound brain to think, to analyze, to understand, to look into. That's what the brain is for. But if you don't produce neurotransmitter, all 12 of them, you will not be getting the benefit of a healthy brain. Matter of fact, your brain won't be healthy if not producing those. That'd be the reason why you won't be producing them. Your brain is compromised. So we have to remove the concretion from the brain, the plaque, the neurofiber level plaque from our brain. Because health and disease starts in our brain, brothers and sisters. So we can make excellent choices. Matter of fact, this is why the cell produced the mind to make excellent choices to take care of them. Because they know how to take care of us. This is why. So brothers and sisters, our time is about to get away from us. It's absolutely amazing how fast time goes by. So we talked about health in general, the second part, and we also talked about laws of mobility. I hope you have a better understanding of what your role and responsibility is to keep your body moving. And we start feeling those sounds, cracking the bones and popping as you walk upstairs, or if you walk, bend down and raise up and you hear those cracking, that means that you're losing collagen. If you're losing collagen, you're losing energy. You're losing muscle protein. It is collagen that help us to produce nerve and nerve endings. Everything is made out of collagen. Neurons, neurotransmitter, all made of collagen. Genes, DNA, RNA, ligament, tendon, cartilage, all made from protein structure called collagen. We have a collagenic fiber. We must understand what that means, brother and sister. No doctor would explain it like that. It's our responsibility to keep it strong and vibrant. So, brothers and sisters, we're going to give our contact information. Please go to the website of the American School of Symptometry, get more detailed information on what we are been talking about. The article, amsos.org, are listed and posted there. Very, very resourceful and very, very important website. Please go there. If you have a need for a certified symptometry health coach, here's my information here on the screen. You can see it. My wife and I, we're both a certified symptometry health coach. When sister rather deal with another sister, she's here available for that, even though I do most of the talking. But that's okay. And you see my email, just send me an email or send me a text. The email is ashaheed2@gmail.com. And our number has changed. For those people who need to make a note of it, it's 470-755-6506. It's our number. Brothers and sisters, if you have a need, contact us and we'll move forward. And we have a school now that can teach people, those who want to know how to get their health back and get more advanced information on how to take care of the needs of our cells, so our cell has the ability to self-correct, self-cleanse, self-regulate, recalibrate, and self-perpetuate. It is we who must provide cleaner blood with more oxygen. Cleaner blood with more oxygen. This is how it is, brother and sister. This is our obligation to our own cells. And we have really enjoyed sharing information with you today here on Optimal Health on AM 360. Brother and sister, another program comes on, I Heal here. That program is Mali Ali Kuli High, conducted by Imam Abdul Aziz. And their motto is, we are together under any and all circumstances. Please stay tuned for his program. I think he'll be here on time. So, brother and sister, we're going to make our exit. We're going to stick around to Imam Abdul Aziz appears. But look like we have a host and Sister Amira. I don't have to stick around. Sister Munira. So I guess she'll be sticking around for him to show up for his program. So we greet everyone with the greeting of peace as we came on with the most excellent language in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Thank you.